Well, it says I've been signed out
What?
because I'm currently signed in on a different device. You're logged in now.
I can't. It uses too much data from my phone.
Well, I don't know. It just logged me out and I didn't do anything. It says you're logged out because somebody else logged in. Because I'm already logged in on a
Then
different
I'll
device.
log out. I said I'll log out.
Okay, Craig's logged in now.
I'll try logging back in.
Craig, can you hear me?
Where'd he go?
Craig, can you hear me?
Of course, I can hear you.
Okay, just a second here. Am I loud and clear?
Clear as a bell.
How about now?
Yep. Same.
That's weird. It must be going through.
I can't hear you now. Nope.
How about now?
Yep. I
Okay.
can hear.
How about now?
Yep. I
Is it
can hear you.
louder?
It's about the same. This time there's no echo.
Hang on here. Okay, talk to me.
Yep. A little breezy out here today. It's supposed to be open tomorrow. I'm hoping to go out and do some more in-depth processes on plate solving. No.
Okay, can you hear
like,
me?
Yep, I can. I plan on going out tomorrow to do some pictures with a 4-panel mosaic. I'm learning that one.
Cool.
Yeah. See what happens. I tried to do it about a week ago, but for some reason it shot off the picture I wanted. And I found out that the cursor you put in for telescopus, so you can get your settings. If you move the cursor off the picture, the settings of what you want to shoot goes with it. So you got to push and hold the target you want and then use your finger to activate it. I didn't know it for the whole night.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, we'll see how this works. Now, are you in on your laptops at all?
No.
Okay. I think it's got to be a firewall thing, maybe. I don't know. You might ask your IT guy, say that I'm getting in fine, you can get on your phone, but none of your laptops will connect.
But that wouldn't do anything with my home laptop.
Well, no, well, you've got firewall on both of them, maybe. And maybe
Why
that's,
would it be exactly the same firewall?
I don't, well, because it's what you've got on your computer. I don't think I've got any firewall set up on mine. And I don't know, that might have nothing to do with it. I'm just trying to think what might be going on with yours that wouldn't be going on with mine.
I do know when I fired mine up, I had OK cookies, if that means anything.
What do you mean cookies?
Yeah, he can't log on to the internet, onto the Wi-Fi here.
Oh, well, that you got to be on first. I agree.
What?
Network reset, that sounds drastic.
Am I louder now?
Same vocal, same volume.
Huh, I wish I could turn it up. And Steve is on. Hi, Steve.
Hello, Steve.
There we go. I think it's working.
It's working.
It is a 10-year-old,
One
at least 10-year-old computer. So got a bit of a cold. So I'm going to share the wealth.
I like it.
Uh, uh,
Hmm.
gotta get this- here it is. Pick it up and walk with it.
Resetting my wireless network adapter.
That's what I would do.
That's what this is doing.
Oh, good.
It says.
Mm.
Verifying the wireless connectivity problem is resolved.
Has there ever been any work on the observatory?
The observatory.
Robert and I vacuumed the floors.
John Baker said he was going out there to do some stuff, and Jim Hand from Ambrose said he was going to. And this is saying I should plug an Ethernet cable into this computer.
Do you have one?
No,
Yeah, I didn't bring one. But there's an Ethernet connection over here on the wall.
but there's no Ethernet cable. What's the point?
That's what I said, that, you know, there is a connection over here. We'll bring one next time. And I don't know why your Wi-Fi wouldn't connect up. Like you said, it connects up at home.
Perfectly well at home.
Let's see if I can focus it a little bit better. Although it might be as clear as it's going to get.
Mhm.
Connect to Putnam Public automatically in the future. What? The Ethernet 2 adapter is disabled. What does that mean? What about you? Where did I do this?
Mm.
This-
Can you get to your agenda?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, well, you can read off your agenda and I'll just go from here. Let me see if I can find that screen share thing.
Oh, what's this? I did-
Whoa.
Hi, Kerry.
Internet.
There he is,
Where's who?
Kerry.
Kerry. Hi.
Can you hear us okay over there?
I can hear you fine. You're talking to me.
Yep, excellent.
Okay. I forgot about last month's meeting. I remembered after the meeting.
Reset. Windows, here's Windows Firewall. Public network firewall is on. Windows, all right, turn that off. It's whoa. What just happened?
Headphones.
Was there? Yeah. No, I forgot what I was doing. Advanced network settings, network reset. There it is. All right.
Gallery.
Windows will shut down in 5 minutes. Why wait 5 minutes? Yes. No, I'm not sure. I'm desperate. Are you recording this?
It said recording. Is there a way we can tell? Yes, it says recording at the top.
Okay, good. Question is it gonna record on your computer itself or on a cloud?
We will sure find out.
And know that my work laptop still will not connect.
I might have to charge you space rental. Okay.
Don't.
Okay.
Especially since for all I know, I just destroyed my home laptop.
John Baker sent me a text just now, said something came up and he won't be here tonight.
Likewise,
Oh, okay, send it out to the group then.
yes.
Okay, I didn't notice. Hey, Kerry,
Yes, sir.
you're in Davenport, aren't you?
No, my daughter lives, I'm in Dixon, Illinois, and my
Okay.
daughter lives in Bettendorf.
That's right. I talked to you about meeting out at Green River.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Craig and I used to go out to Green River once in a while, the bootleggers star party, and also just to go out there and do some astronomy over by the Rangers office.
Do they have power access or do you have to bring batteries?
I'm not hearing you too well. It's kind of muffled,
Oh,
but yeah,
okay. Let me
I
bring this maybe real closer.
troubles there before going, and they usually have the one restroom open, and we run a drop cord from underneath the shelter
Okay,
or gear.
Yeah, because really I need to find another location that doesn't have quite a few trees as I have. The coverage in my area is just terrible with the trees. Though I like the trees, they don't do much for me at nighttime.
The wind, but it doesn't do much for the sky.
The birds love them. My wife loves them, but for me at nighttime, I don't care for them. Very rarely can I get a good angle on like the the planets and stuff. But all the way down to the west, I just can't see them because of tree coverage. The northeast section of the sky is the best section I can get. So I take pictures of a lot of things in those areas.
How long would it take to install Zoom on my phone?
Yeah, who's Dan's iPhone again?
Hello, it's Dan Cusack.
Hi.
There it goes.
What's that?
My home laptop is restarting. Resetting the network. What's going to happen now?
I'll be right back. Oh.
What was that?
Okay.
Wait a minute. That's all it was.
What, reboot?
No, you got to enter the password in lowercase letters, not uppercase.
No.
Guess what?
What?
The password is lowercase letters, not uppercase.
Does it look like it on here?
I know it's uppercase on there and it's uppercase in there, but this computer, both of them say it's lowercase.
Well, good. Did you get in?
I'm in now.
Well, I wonder if now it's gonna kick me out.
I don't know. I can't tell which one of these is, okay, here's the Zoom meeting.
Hi, Alan.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna join on my computer. I don't have a pass, doesn't give me a passcode. Never mind, I'll join with my email. As long as you can keep recording it, we're fine.
Yeah, it's going. It shouldn't run out, I wouldn't think.
Alright, so. And anyway, then we'll figure out some way that
Hi, Alan.
you can send me the. What am I doing here? Okay. Hang on. Let me
Alan,
in.
can you hear?
Let me in. Let me in.
Thank
Let
you. What is
me in.
Oh, nice. It is a big box.
Okay, whoa. The recorder host wife said, okay. On the computer.
Recording in progress.
Oh, I'm automatically recording it here too. Hang on. How's that? Is that good? I turned off my mic. Wait, what, get my. I turned off my speakers too. Don't ask.
Yeah, are you? Pretty good.
I turned off my. Okay, all right, there. Okay, I'll mute it.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jeff. Everybody else?
Hello, Jim.
Hello.
Excuse me a second.
I don't know whether you saw it. John sent a text message. He will not be able to make it tonight. Something came up.
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay, let's got that. Be right back.
That's a little bit of a beefy little guy.
What's that?
Cecil's
Oh, he's
20 millimeter 100-degree astrotech.
Ah, okay.
You guys can't see it. If you were here, you could come see it. Nah, boo boo. That is heavy.
So Jeff, where are you at right now?
Do you know where I live?
I do not know where you live.
Well, then that won't help me to tell you that. Do you know where Alcoa was at? Arconic,
Yes.
right across the street,
Oh, okay.
side of the highway.
Okay, so who is there with you?
I've got Robert with me, I've got Cecil with me, and I've got Jim Rutenbeck with me.
So you got Robert and you both
And-
on the computer in the same room?
Yeah, two different computers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm signed on as him because we couldn't get him on at first. So I'm signing as Quad Cities to get everybody in. Then he was able to get his computers working, so he signed in. So we actually have 4 here and 5 online. And Cecil's eyepiece counts it as a person now. It has to have its own share. 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock.
So was that VanHyfte speaking?
Yes, that was Steve.
His voice sounded very low.
Yeah, I'm, you know what? I am not sharing the wealth tonight, and you guys be happy with that, okay?
Well, maybe if he stands up, his voice will be higher. And Sam just joined us in the flesh.
Now, this is the first live meeting I've been to for a few years.
Yeah. Years? It's been years?
I think so.
Wow.
We'll probably start as soon as Robert gets back.
He's back.
Oh,
I'm
Robert's
back.
back.
Now, can everyone hear me okay? I had to turn my speaker off.
You're coming in great.
You're using that microphone.
Thank you for the
Do
microphone.
you want me to check what the parking lot one time, and if nobody's coming, we'll start the meeting? If there's somebody coming, we'll wait a second.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yes. In the meantime, Greg, Kerry, Steve, Alan, Dan, hello.
So who's there over there at Alcoa? It's Robert and it's Jeff.
Jeff, Cecil,
Jim Rutenbeck.
and Sam.
Sam.
Okay.
Anybody?
Okay.
Gentlemen of the board, shall we begin the meeting?
Yes, yes.
Right. Okay, so back in Riverdale Town Hall. Last month's connectivity problems seem to have been solved, so let's begin. So recent events. The Messier Marathon on March 18th. Our public night on March 25th, and the Our Lady of the Prairie Retreat this past Saturday, all canceled due to weather. Don't you just love this time of year?
So quick comment on that. That's one of the reasons why in the past I had never minded setting up public opens every month, because so many of them get canceled anyway. So even though we can schedule one in January or December, the weather's bad, we don't do it. And there's so many bad during the year that if we do get a good December, very cool. And the reason we haven't been setting up, what do you call it? Backups or what?
Rain dates.
Rain dates is because we also do St. Ambrose. So we essentially have 2 a month anyway. So there's no sense in either one of us having rain schedules because we back up each other. So
basically QCAS and St. Ambrose, we're each other's own rain dates. All right. Well, hopefully we'll have good weather for Astronomy Day coming up on the 29th.
Is that at Bettendorf High School?
Bettendorf High School, yes. So I suppose the daytime part of it, we could at least move. Would they be okay with us moving it indoors?
no.
No.
Okay, so it's going to be like we did last year. There's new people involved and they're actually excited about it going on. They'll have the planetarium open as normal. I think we're running from like 12 to 5 roughly. I drove by the high school today and it looks like they put up like a little berm thing between the parking and the street. So we can park as normal, but we might have to walk up a little bit of a berm to set up on the boulevard. So when I get there early to set up, you guys will see what I've got going on, but it's basically the same thing. We'll set up out front. We'll go ahead and have some type of call if it's cloudy or rainy or something. So we'll make the determination that morning. Probably I can talk to Robert and we'll make a decision at 9 a.m.
Now, we would still do something if it was cloudy.
I don't think so, no,
Okay.
unless you wanted to set up scopes anyway, but. I forgot what event they had this year or have going on this year, but it's different than it's not the dance competition and it's not the judo one. I forgot what they had going on in there. But the school's booked every weekend always.
Yeah,
So the chances of us doing inside, we'd have to like schedule a year in advance and it'd have to be a pretty good size event for them to, say that somebody else can't use it. So anyway, so that's the game plan. Solar scopes from like noon to 5 roughly outside. And then that evening at our observatory for the rest of it, for the regular public night. And both of them we'll probably call 9 o'clock in the morning for the daytime one. And maybe we'll make that decision 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon because we'll have enough club members there, whether or not the evening ones go or not. So it'll be nice to actually get out for a change.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to look at the email, see if I can find out what that other event was you were talking about. Let's see. I don't know this one, but anyway. All right, well, anyway.
So, and they will have the planetarium open, like I said, and signs up, so we can tell people to go look at their planetarium. They asked for some pictures, so I think I gave them some pictures of our facility out at Mankey with the new building and the scopes and stuff. Hopefully, anybody that sees that kind of stuff, maybe they'll think, well, wow, we didn't expect that, out there. I met a guy at the coffee shop today. So I go to the coffee shop every day, and the same college student sits next to me, and he asked me some stuff because I had my shirt on, and I told him about observatory, and it blew him away that we had that. He just thought we just had some, we showed up with our little telescopes and blah, blah, blah. But his dad ran some type of observation stuff for satellites, geolocating for satellites and stuff. So he actually joined the Facebook page tonight, and he's going to try to make it to our meetings and see how things go. So I don't even remember why I said all that, other than because people don't really know what we have out there unless they've been out there, and maybe these pictures will help.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hi, Rusty.
Hello, guys.
All right. Then in May, we've got 2 public nights. Ambrose is sponsored. One is on the 13th, May 13th, and our club's May 20th. So, usual rain days again. And then, just usual public events, couple more in June. And should we bring up the vacation body? Okay, vacation Bible system. We were contacted by a Kathy Stegmiller, who represents a vacation Bible school. They're doing some kind of outing. They're doing some kind of program the week of July 24th. And they asked us if we could do something regarding astronomy. Now, they are talking about 150 kids at this event, ranging in ages from kindergarten to 6th grade, about that.
Junior high, yeah.
Junior high. And they, I can find the email info of that. Yeah, I want everybody to know full well what this would involve. Okay, so they have use of a building that has a large room that can accommodate about 40 people at a time. So yeah, at the very least, they'd be breaking the kids up into groups, I think 5 groups of 30 or so. But there will be 150 altogether.
what time?
All afternoon,
Okay, so not at night.
not at night. It's at their location.
Yes.
Where?
It's at their location. I forgot where it was at laid off, but we'll be out in the parking lot. She said they've got electricity there. She checked.
Okay, so it's solar then.
Yeah, and talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Do you have the email I sent? Because we have the topics. So there's like 4 or 5 topics. I think one of them was like solar system, And I thought about something on telescopes
Mhm.
and maybe something on deep space.
Mhm.
What's the date?
We can choose a date between like July 24th and 28th or something like that. So wherever we get the most help. I guess the question is the club prepared to handle 150 kids? Because I'm thinking I'd really like to have double team these folks and break into 4 and 5 groups. So we're talking about 8 to 10 club members.
Mhm.
We have 8 to 10 club members that are comfortable talking about the topics that we're thinking we can do.
And their theme is faith-based. God created everything, and they don't want us saying anything that would contradict that.
Well, you can count me out.
We'll just set up a telescope.
And somebody complaining about that. Somebody did a presentation on Easter. And it was about astronomy or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And it's like, it's too bad that they did that on Easter because it's not about God's creation. And I was like, okay.
Well, it depends on the topic. I don't think that you're going to have a conflict of faith if you're talking about a refractor versus a reflector.
It's just the principle of the matter.
Although God does prefer refractors.
It's things of man versus things of God. You have to remember that.
So I'm just not worried about it too much because I think that since we can direct it, we don't have to talk about aliens. And stuff like that. It's very simple what the planets are, how they circle, how far away they are, how big they are, what we think the atmospheres are made out of.
Yeah.
And the thing with the sun, how far away it is, how big it is, how hot it is, what would happen if the Earth got too close or too far away. I don't think there's any problems there. If we can do some solar viewing, do you have that list of the 4 or 5 things?
That's what I'm trying to find.
It was on the last email I sent to the board.
Oh, yeah. Well, somebody talked about the Big Bang Theory on Easter Sunday.
But again, if someone brings up something that you think might be of conflict, you can say, well, you'll need to talk to your instructor about that, or,
Yeah.
and just leave it at that. You can drop it if it looks like you're being led. So,
Yeah.
Let's see, the topics you suggest are solar viewing and sketching, astronomy as a hobby / vocation, telescope types and basics, solar system and deep space objects.
so I think all that.
Was that 4 items or 5 items?
That's 4 items.
So there's your 4 groups and there's your 4 presentations.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, they just laid it out for you. Make it simple.
Well, actually, I volunteered that to them because I wanted to keep it away from anything that, she says, yeah, that's fine. So.
You have to remember when it comes to Adam and Eve, they were the first people who did not read Apple's terms and conditions.
Oh, that'll go over well.
Folks, this is being recorded, and we do not claim that Cecil speaks for everybody in the group. Okay. So, depending on the date, how many in the room in-house? Me, Cecil, Jim, Robert?
Only if it's early in the week.
Well, I said depending on the date. 4? And you don't want in on it?
No.
Okay. How many online there can help out with that?
I think part of it, it might depend on where it's at. I mean, is it local?
It's local. Wasn't it Loud
It
Thunder?
said something about a scout camp.
Was it Loud Thunder?
That's what I'm trying to find.
Oh, I bet you it's the same one I wonder if it's the same one that Dale Hatchell did last year. Because he said that he had a group of about 150 scouts that he had to do presentations for. Maybe it's a yearly thing that they do.
A Loud Thunder Boy Scout camp.
Yeah.
That's out toward us, isn't it?
Huh?
That's out toward Dixon, our out
No.
toward, where's
No,
that?
no, that's not that this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like what?
So yeah, just across the river into
Yeah.
Illinois and then a
Yeah.
little down.
And then what hours did I have on that? Do you have that email called up?
One moment, I'm looking up two different things at the same
Should have gone
time.
like 1 to 1:30.
Yeah. But for some reason, I thought it went to like 5 or something like that, like 2 to 5 or.
No, I think it said that was, we'll just. It's not here.
It should be in the email I wrote. I thought I put the date and the time or the, you know,
Give me a minute. So an email that you sent to the club,
no, set to the board.
to the board. That is, when did you send it? That would help me find it.
Month ago.
The event, I just know, it was just this week. I sent that letter just a couple days ago. That says that the event would be on one afternoon from 12:15 to 3:30.
3:30, yes.
Between July 24th and July 28th inclusive.
So we're gonna, theoretically, then we're gonna have realistically 3 hours
Yeah,
with all the,
yeah, and just kind of rattle them through a few stations.
and so that's 3 hours divided by 5 topics,
4.
4 topics. Okay, so you're looking at maybe 40-45 minutes.
Yeah, half an hour, 40 minutes
Yeah.
per topic.
Yeah,
And you just repeat the same topic.
yeah.
Did you say this Camp Loud Thunder? Directions.
Loud Thunder Boy Scout Camp.
I don't know if it's just a
Yeah.
park or what it is.
This website saying it's either Andalusia or Illinois City,
It's close.
It's between there.
It's in
in
between.
between them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far away is that?
Depends on where you live. From here, it's maybe what, 40 minutes from here? Maybe.
At the most.
But anyway, we can only do this if we get enough volunteers. I mean,
And we're only halfway there. We need another 4.
Well, hopefully, we won't have to play babysit. I mean, that'll be taken care of by,
I don't mind talking about the astronomy as a hobby all by myself.
yeah.
I'll do all of those by myself. And who's anybody comfortable about doing telescopes or solar system and deep space objects or solar viewing and sketching?
I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
Solar viewing, bring a telescope, have them look through it, give them a sheet of paper. I think that we've got at Mankey some little templates that are just a circle. They can draw sunspots if they see them in flares, that type of thing.
I
Yeah,
got some of those at work.
Yeah, make 150 or 160 copies.
And by the time you have 40 kids look through your telescope, your time is about up.
I can do
Plus-
telescopes.
What's that?
I can do the telescope.
Okay.
Plus, you're gonna have to have,
You want to do solar?
that's fine, you have to do,
You want to do this
If
planetary and deep space?
I could, or if we're gonna talk about astronomy as a vocation, that's probably me.
Okay, I was leaning toward hobby to get the kids in, but that's fine too.
No,
I
I
don't
don't going
care.
I mean, I can do,
So we need an assistant on each one then.
plus you're gonna have to have clipboards. I mean, how are they gonna hold a piece of paper and draw?
Good question.
But you're only gonna have one person at a time, so you probably only need maybe 4 or 5.
Or maybe you don't even need to do the sketching. I mean, like I said, if there's 40 kids
Yeah.
every 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That's 1 minute per kid looking through a telescope.
Yeah.
hardly enough time to do any sketching.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't hear anyone, no one stepping up online.
No. Well,
Well, John Baker's a possibility.
And I'm a possibility as well. I just can't commit without, talking to the household about what we plan to be doing the week of the 27th in July. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, week of the 24th in July.
Then we still have to figure out what date this would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you two are the problem dates. When can you come?
No later than that Tuesday.
So you said 24th or the 28th, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And how about you, Jim?
Well, I may have a problem with a Monday.
So does that mean that they're gonna be camping out there for 5 days? Is that what that is? And you can pick what day you wanna go? Is that what they're saying?
Kinda, yeah.
Oh,
So you can do it on the 25th,
I could.
and you can do it on the 25th?
Is that Tuesday?
Yeah,
Yes.
and you can do it on the 25th?
Yep.
And I can do it on the 25th. So we're gonna say the 25th because we got 4 commitments for the 25th, which is Tuesday.
that's weather permitting.
So if we can get, yeah,
Outside.
yeah, if that's weather permitting. So on the 25th, if we don't get 4 more people to help out, we've gotta just tell her that we can't do it.
Right.
why do we have to have that many people?
It's always good to have a backup. What if somebody has car trouble on the way?
Well, that's
Or
possible.
you have to go to the restroom,
Or,
or you're having trouble setting up gear, or,
Yeah, but
Keep-
you
keep
could
it-
do that with 1 or 2 maybe. If you can't get
except for
4,
it depends on where the stations are at,
yeah.
if they're like a block away or something.
Hmm.
So I don't know how the setup is, but
Yeah.
it's always good to have a teammate when you're doing this kind of stuff.
Oh, sure, but sometimes you,
Have you ever been there?
I have not.
I haven't either.
I've been there and I'm trying to think how they set them up. I mean, because it's a campground, right? And it's just a big open area where you can have tents. And there's like, I think sometimes they have like picnic tables and stuff like that. I don't know if they leave the tents and then walk somewhere for these activities, but chances are that you're gonna have maybe 2 or 3 groups that are like, I don't know, maybe 100 feet apart. It's not like they're gonna be,
They might be real close.
everybody's just gonna be within the same area, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and they can be, so, but I just don't know what to expect.
Is there still an observatory out there?
Yes,
I thought there was. I don't know who.
That I've never seen.
Is it working? Who's
yes.
left? Okay, good.
But they only have one guy that can operate it, so. And I can't remember his name. Al might remember his name.
That's a Boy Scout, Boy Trooper or something that could operate that observatory?
Yeah, John Schaub's the guy's name.
I think we met him at one of the grant things that we went to, that you and I went to.
He used to be a PAC member. They have an observatory there at Loud Thunder. It's pretty good sized observatory. Oh, so maybe that's where they meet. I don't know. That I've never seen.
Yeah, it's been quite a few years since I've been to Loud Thunder, but I went and helped with Boy Scout observing at the observatory, but that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a pretty large campground. They got a lot of dorms there too.
Well, I'd suggest that we move on with the meeting. Robert, you can send out an email, and we need to get 4 more volunteers. And we probably should know this week to get back to her, to give her a yes or a no.
Yes, yeah, okay. Right.
And Kerry, you can double check.
I will. And see if I can make it that Tuesday, because it sounds like fun.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Yeah.
It'll be quick enough.
Well, I also kind of curious on how the guys are set up for solar observation, because I've never done that myself.
Cool.
Well,
Besides just projecting. I've done that before in the
Well, in
past.
my opinion, 150 people, children, is intimidating and can be overwhelming. On the other hand, it's an opportunity to have a big impact. So it's so many of our events, at least for the QCAS, have been, gee, if you had 10 people show up, you were really doing well. So, how much of an impact do you have? And so here's a chance to have an impact on an awful lot of people. That's what looked appealing to me.
And the leaders as well. Not just the
Yes,
kids.
That's a good point, Cecil,
Yeah.
because if we can teach them something, we may not be available the next time, but maybe they can learn enough that they can put it on.
And again, in perspective, we had 3 times that many people at our last meteor shower party.
Well, okay, yeah. I
But you
wasn't
had a
there,
lot of
but,
telescopes there too.
We had a lot of telescopes there.
Yeah,
And there was a reason that we had that, because we had club members show up.
yeah,
And we could have that going on here too.
Yeah.
If we have club members show up.
Speaking of meteor shower parties, that's on August 12th this year, the actual peak of the Perseid meteors. So, location, Menke Observatory, or
I haven't done a lot of work on that yet, but I'm still hoping for Pleasant Valley. I'll try to get a hold of Ian again.
all right, and then Eastern Iowa Star Party, September 15th through 17th. Anything new with that?
Nope, nothing special going on for that. I think we're gonna have some door prizes. George donated, I think we've got a Teleview eyepiece and a Teleview Barlow and a few other items. We might have some door prizes or raffles or something. But I don't think we're gonna really have any guest speakers unless someone wants to talk. We can do some roundtable stuff, which is always fun.
Okay,
There will be no charge again this year for it.
okay then. And then October 14th. There's an annular solar eclipse in the southwestern US. It's gonna be about a 50% partial eclipse here. And turns out that's on the same day as one of our public nights. So some of us have been wondering if we want to do something special for that.
I thought we were planning on doing something special for it. Talked about setting up in different places.
I don't have my little thing out. Yeah, I plan on being at Coffee Hound on Competition Drive with 2 to 3 telescopes. I think that lady is going to make some eclipse cookies, like orange cookies with a black semicircle chopped out of them or something.
We could just eat half of them.
We could eat half of them. But anyway, my thought was, and I don't know if we can get enough people involved, is to have 2 or 3 club members go to 2, 3, or 4 different locations around the area and set up telescopes. The eclipse starts about 10:30 in the morning and is done about 1:30 in the afternoon. So it's not a real long one. So if you go to like a restaurant area, you're bound to get slammed with people at lunchtime going in and out, wanting to take a peek through telescopes. We also have 2 club banners now that if we go to someplace where we think that we can get people, what day of the week is the 14th?
Saturday.
Yeah, just this past Saturday, over at Competition Drive, there's a bunch of restaurants. All of the parking lots were so full, I had to wait at noon for 20 minutes before I could get a parking spot. So if people get to these restaurants and things like at 9-ish, 9:30 to set up for it, you'll get a good parking place and you could have a lot of people show up just to take a gander at the eclipse. I plan on having an EAA screen going on, a white light scope and a H alpha scope all going at the same time. So does anybody else want to do that kind of thing on their own or meet up someplace?
I could do something at Ambrose campus.
That could be. Is anybody there on Saturday?
All the students in the dorms, yes.
Okay. So I could use somebody to hang out with me, Robert could use somebody to hang out with him.
Mhm.
Scope or no scope, like I said, it's always good to have a partner.
Yes.
I thought that I had on my computer my little banner thingy. I'm gonna minimize y'all. Oh, it says I cannot minimize when I'm recording. Well, I'll try to find it if you want to go on with the meeting.
All right. So,
So solar glasses, are we gonna plan to use any of those for this eclipse?
I would,
yes,
because I don't think anybody's gonna be around for the total in a year. I'm gonna be out of town.
Okay.
Imagine most of us will be doing some
I'm gonna
travel.
be out of town, yes. All right, so anybody bought some new gear lately?
See, I did. I was looking for something a little bit bigger. I have an 81 millimeter now. So I was looking for something for a little bit bigger that I could use my existing mount on. So I bought a AT-115. So now I'm up to 4.5 inches as opposed to my 81 millimeter refractor. It just arrived this weekend, so I haven't had a chance. I took it out of its box, but I haven't got it on my mount yet. So I'm kind of looking excited to see what that extra inch will give me.
That should be very nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I really with the 81 millimeter, you really can't view the planets. I mean, you can, but I'm hoping with this one, I'll be able to get some pretty nice pictures of the planets in addition to be able to get a little of the deeper objects than what I can get with the 81 millimeter. So looking forward to trying it out.
Say you bought what, an AstroTech one?
Yes, sir.
It's a nice code. It's a nice code.
Oh, good. I mean, I did review, I did check out the reviews and stuff, and it's an affordable scope, and it wasn't, I think it says right here, the weight's about 13 pounds, and that should work well on my mount, because I didn't want to upgrade the mount, because eventually I'm going to have to go to a bigger mount to get like a, some type of, SCT type scope or something like that, if I want to go that direction.
You want to do some planetary imaging, is that what you said?
Yes, this is imaging.
Yeah, the focal length wide is not, it's probably not the greatest for that, but it's good for, it's good for deep space photography if you have a good camera.
Good. That's I go mostly for deep
It's
deep
like
space.
what is it? It's like an F7, I think.
You are correct. It's an F7. It's a focal length is a little over 800 millimeters.
Like an F9 or
yeah. I got the little fact sheet in front of me because I can't remember it. And I got a see what oh shoot, I'm trying to remember the camera I got. It's oh shoot, I'll have to look it up. But the camera should work on this. It's a color dedicated camera. It's like 3008 pixels by 3008. It's a square, has a square sensor. And it should work pretty well with this.
You have a nice 2x Barlow?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, give that a shot for planetary on there.
Okay. But I do all photography though. So I don't even have an eyepiece, I don't think.
You'll be able to focus everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be able to focus with it through the camera.
Okay.
And we can get together. There's a few of us that do some of that.
Good. Because I'm looking for that. Because I also have a filter that what is it? The oblong light pollution filter. Iopton light pollution pro. I don't have it in front of me, so I can't tell you for sure. It's in my scope right now. So. I'm looking forward to taking it out. Hopefully I'll be able to take it out. Well, this week looks pretty crummy, weather-wise. So hopefully I'll be able to try it, the first clear night we get.
Nice and clear tonight.
It's
Yeah.
clear tonight?
It is clear tonight, it's supposed to be,
Oh,
pretty cold though, and it's still pretty windy.
Oh, yeah.
Which will, yes, it will make it pretty hard to get a sharp image, but
It's not one thing, it's another.
I know. If you wait till the perfect night, you'll never go out. So
I think I've only experienced one, and it was on my first star party when it was raining, and when we walked out of the conference, it was clear. That was the best night ever.
but that's it for me, Ian, as far as gear goes.
Cool.
It's a pretty good purchase.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The 81 millimeter was really a good size, and I plan to also to use that in the future. But I'm really excited about seeing what difference this the 115 millimeter makes.
All right.
Yep, plugged it into Stellarium with your camera gear and stuff.
Okay.
And you can get an idea on the field of view what things would be with and without a Barlow.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a 2X and a 4X. You've got a 2X if you want to borrow a 4X. It's really hard to deal with the 4X though.
That's what I was thinking with the Barlow. It's first I'll just try it pure vanilla with my setup, and then I got a 0.8 corrector on it too that I'll have to get the measurements right and everything, which will bring its own challenges. But I'm looking forward to working it out.
All right. Before we continue, you've got the banner. You found the banner for the annual eclipse.
Yeah. This is together for me to use over at the coffee shop. So if anybody wants to do this, let me know, and rather
I think you have to share your screen.
it should be sharing.
It's not online.
I thought all this time it was sharing. Let me see here. Where's the little? Now is it sharing?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sharing now. Yes. There it is.
So I put that together for my use over at Coffee Hound, but I've got to see it here because I'm there all the time. So I just have this, this sitting on the table when I'm having coffee and people see it. And I was going to just give them some in advance. But if you want to, and you know where you want to go, we could type in the place.
If I do manage to get something set up at St. Ambrose, I feel like could I use this?
Yeah, we can all use this. And
Great.
now I have to figure out how to minimize this crazy thing. I'll just do a stop share and see what happens. Okay.
You know how far south you have to go before you can see the full annual eclipse, not just a partial? Is that?
Arizona, New Mexico.
Where's the place in Southern Illinois? That's where's the, and it's the same place it was there with the last one in 2017.
Carbondale.
Okay, I saw it in 2017. It was quite the sight to see. It was well worth the drive.
I'm going to Red Oak, Texas for almost 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I got 7 acres of ground with a 4-bedroom house and a pool.
Oh, great.
So many rooms.
4 bedrooms. And I don't remember, it's 3 or 4 bathrooms. I'm taking my daughter, son-in-law, and granddaughter out there. It's my granddaughter's birthday on the eclipse.
Good.
So that's my birthday present to them. I'm flying them out there from Portland, Oregon, and I'm driving down with all my gear early, and then I'll drive to the airport, pick them up, and bring them back. So I'll have solar scopes, and I thought I'd take other gear out there because it's pretty dark where I'm going to be.
Sounds like a pretty special time. That sounds pretty cool.
I may not come back.
Yeah.
All right.
Anybody else have new gear? Cecil?
Nope. Nope, nothing. Just that.
We'll talk about that.
What is?
What is
I
that?
talked about it last time.
We'll talk about it again.
Oh, well, the thing I bought's a 20 millimeter eyepiece
Oh, yeah.
with 100-degree field of view.
That's the one from,
And it's,
Astronomy, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a monster.
It's a monster.
Yeah. It's a hand grenade.
Oh, it
It's,
disappeared.
it's,
Just,
you have to hold it for you.
there it is. Oh my God.
Had a chance to use it yet.
It is a monster.
So they're available for sale and what, how much do they cost?
Cost $279, I think.
Okay.
Which I thought was pretty reasonable. I thought at one time they had, no, I can put top on that. I thought they had like a 30 or a 35, but they don't. 20 is the limit, and then they go down. And if you get one that's a smaller focal length, they're $250.
What's
So-
the brand?
What?
What's the brand?
Astrotech.
It's an Astrotech, yeah.
Astrotech. Okay.
And they've gotten good reviews. So
And that's a 20?
it's a 20.
It's a 20.
Jim, do you still have that 20 millimeter Explorer Scientific, or did you not have one?
I did have one and I sold it because I also had the Teleview
Okay.
21.
Yeah, I've got the Teleview 21. Does anybody here have the Explorer Scientific 100-degree 20? Be really cool to put them all together and compare them all.
They're probably all just copies anyway.
Yeah, well, the difference is if it's like under 300 versus just under 900.
Yeah. But that seems to be the, that's always been the thing where the Chinese or the Japanese or somebody can can make copies. And all you have to do is to make one tiny little itty bitty little change. So you don't
Like the
violate-
font's a different color.
Yeah. Any little thing and the
Deliberately misspell it.
yeah, and you don't violate the patent.
Full multi-coded. Extra wide angle, 100 degrees, 20 millimeters.
And my other 20 is a really good one. It's a Vixen. It's made by Vixen. It's an Orion lanthanum. And it's really a good eyepiece, but it's 70 degrees.
I think they're exactly the same eyepiece.
But
The Vixen. and-
yeah, they're the same. And it's really a good eyepiece. And so I thought if this works out well, I can always sell the other one.
Sure.
Because it's like I said, it's really a good eyepiece.
We might need it for counterbalance, put that on there.
I sold them.
Well, I've got a weight already on the back of the 30.
Yeah, well, with that, you might need another one.
Might have to.
They look a lot smaller on the picture on the website.
Yeah. So
It's pretty nice.
yeah, we'll see how it works. It's supposed to, and they say it's supposed to work with fast Dobbs, so we'll see.
Anybody else have new gear? Well, I've got a new gear coming. It's another telescope. And so now I'm up to about 27 telescopes. But I don't want to say anything about this until it comes in.
I need to get rid of some of mine. That's what I need to do.
Well, that's the next topic.
Anyone have any gear? Anyone want to sell any gear?
I didn't right now, but I need to.
Well, why wait till the last minute?
I know, I need to figure out.
You can't use them all at once.
I can't.
Yeah, but that one clear day we have a year. You have to make sure you've got the right telescope,
Yeah,
otherwise you'll blow it.
yeah.
But I tell you that, I started a solar society online and I'm gonna turn it into a, bricks and mortar group later, because there's so many days that there's some sun out and you don't have to drive. And, you don't really need a lot of gear, so, some of you have got invites on Facebook, I think, but, I've got a Struve Solar Society going, and I think I've got like 50 members on there now. And yeah, like I said, you know, solar glasses, a set of binoculars with a little filter on there, and you're good to go to do solar stuff, you know. Or you can get carried away and get HA and CAK and all that kind of filtering and stuff. And so it's just more convenient to walk outside the door and plop a telescope down on an alt-az mount and take a peek for a while. So check Facebook for that.
Yeah, and right now we're in a period of the sun's a little more active than it had been a few years ago too, so that makes it.
We are approaching a solar maximum, yes.
Well, and then we got this eclipse and we got the next eclipse, so that we've got a real nice year's time, you know, that stuff can be happening and talking and stuff. Solar is a cool thing, but anyway, we digress on that. Did we want anybody have any gear for sale? Now's your time, Sam.
Well, but what I'm gonna sell, that's the thing. So much stuff.
So if you guys check your email, I think Byron had a scope for sale. I don't know whether he sold it or not. And I
Yeah,
did.
he sold it.
Did he? Okay. And then Steve Sinkson, I think, had a scope for sale. And I don't know if he sold that. And I think they were both refractors. Steve's, I believe, was on an alt-az mount.
And Gamino had one for sale too, I don't know if he sold it.
Okay.
He had that 80mm. It was an Astrotech, I think, 80mm EDT. Pretty nice little scope. Pretty nice little scope for the.
Well, maybe if he still has it, the club can look at that for Eastern Iowa Star Party, not this year, but next year. Because we need to start building that up again. And now with Zoom being prevalent and everybody knowing how to do it, we can get some good speakers. The only reason we're not doing it this year, if we get speakers, that means we got to rent up the facility. And I don't think we've got the budget right now to rent the rest of Wapsie River stuff. So. Okay.
All right, anyone else? All right, so in lieu of a formal presentation, let's ask if anybody has any new Astro photos to share.
So, Craig, we got some from you and I've got some from Byron and I can share those. But Craig, you have yours available to share so you can talk about them and go as you please rather than me guessing? You're muted too. You're muted. There you go.
Flaming Star and the Tadpole Nebula I did in one night. I don't know how to post the picture.
You got the pictures?
Well, I have them on the tablet, yes, but I don't know how to.
Do you have, I mean, can you see them? Because all you have to do is go to the bottom and hit share screen and select it. Otherwise, I can show them for you. If you do it, you can use your
Okay. How do I get
the picture and stuff.
Yeah,
So-
one moment. Yeah. I don't. I guess you'll have to show me when I come into town,
Sure.
because I was really happy with the results that I had. If you have it, that would be great. I did send it to you, I believe.
Yeah, I got a number of them from you. And you know what? I'm going to do this a little bit differently, a way I don't want to do it, but it'd be easier for me to find them.
Yeah, you could show me how to do it. I wouldn't mind. It's right there. Up. Oh, that's wow.
Let's do that one first.
That one is the Eye of Sauron. I was doing a test run on processing to try to get the spirals to come out because it is a galaxy. And I kind of failed on that one.
I don't know,
have,
it looks,
have
computer screen, it looks bad on the projector, but you can see spiral arms here.
Yep.
And
down there. Yep.
and this little guy all around here, and
Yep. That was kind of baked a little bit too much. Even though I had it masked to hide, it still did not do well. Did you go get the flaming star?
they're probably in alphabetical order.
Okay. Because that one is a second time I've used the Hyperstar on my 8-inch edge. I don't think that's it. Oh, that's crap. That was a redo from something I took a couple of years ago using the new programs in PixInsight to enhance the detail.
Is that the?
And-
Yeah.
Yes.
But that was done with my 533 MC Pro using Upsilon Extreme, L Extreme. So what I did is I made it into a single shot, divided them up to individual red, green, and blue, processed them, and then put them back together to enhance more of the color of blue.
Then we got the eye again, some different sizes of it, different.
That one doesn't, the small galaxy at the lower left isn't as baked. Yeah, that one's the hamburger. I did that with the what in the blazes was that? I believe that was my 8-inch astrograph with a one-shot color using nothing more than the L Pro, which is a light pollution filter. Processing it primarily in PixInsight. I was very happy with it.
So Kirk, do you have an observatory, or is it just sitting in your backyard?
Oh my, I'm in my backyard. I have a very limited view. If I move the base of the tripod, there's trees right above me, so I have the view over the neighbor's house to the north, and I have a gap opening between my house and his house to the east and to the west a little bit, but I'm getting into trees there. What I usually do is I go down to the beach to get everything I can to the south, but there is a lot of light pollution. Yeah.
So you set up, take down every time you do this?
Oh yes. I set up.
You got a lot more heart than I do.
Well, I set up and open the house running the computer.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's setting up and taking pictures, and then processing is not a thing, but having to take down and put stuff away. It's nice when you don't have to do that, and you can just go and take pictures whenever you feel like it, but.
Well, I enjoy the whole process itself. It's not a pain for me. I enjoy the be honest with you, I've got a very small section in back, but it is quite dark because the houses and trees and all the fencing pretty much hides the scope itself when it's running, other than a little red light that's on and the green one for the battery pack. But other than that,
And it sounds like you're starting to lean more toward PixInsight than APP. It sounds like you're more into it.
I am leaning stronger to PixInsight. AP&P will give me a pretty good fast shot of what I took, only to have to go into PixInsight, go through the whole process to get more detail and more color. Though I have found out, I'd say the last time we talked, I was having trouble with photometric color calibration in PixInsight. which requires a accurate location of what you're shooting. It has to be imprinted in the print. Anybody who has an astronomy camera, it's an automatic, but if you crop it before you process color calibration, you've lost that.
Yeah.
But recently I've learned how to go into that crop picture and pull the information off of one shot. Any shot that you have from the camera from taking that picture, you can open that up, copy the information, and put it back onto whatever you're processing. Yeah, Pixin site is awesome. Don't get me wrong. It was a leap board for me. It got me into what I do and enjoy a lot more than normal. But it has allowed me to, with retirement, to springboard into doing a deep study. Right now, I'm doing a very deep study in taking mosaics using ASI Air Plus and processing in Pixin site. And there was a couple things I needed to do before I start it, because you just don't go out and shoot a picture. The panels have to be marked, and I use Telescopus on that. I was going to do the Heart Nebula on 4 panels last time I was out, but the trees are in the way. And so I moved over to M101, which is a fairly large galaxy, and for some reason it loaded the frames, but the pictures are off center to the galaxy, only to find out when I was going into the tutorials that if you're using your mouse and you highlight what you want to do center wise for the 4 panels, if that mouse moves, so does the figure. So yeah, that was I'm going to see if I can load a picture and send it to you, Jeff.
What's this guy that I got up on the screen now?
Oh, that's it. The Flaming Nebula is on the right, and the tadpole is on the left. That's kind of weak. Maybe that's just me. But what I did, that's my second time I've used the Edge HD, my 8-inch with the Hyperstar, using for the first time the ASI 2600 MM, using Beta F2 HA03 and S2, and each shot was a 1-minute shot, and this was done in the backyard. I took 1-minute shots, 60 seconds. I did a half hour of each filter, and this is what I got. I hardly had to stretch anything to get the color out. I'm very, very pleased with it.
That's really pretty.
Yeah. Now I'm hoping you get to see it a little brighter than, yeah, this is my M81, M82, and the Hamburger. But that one, that was done with the Explorer Scientific 127 triplet, and my ASI 126. And being I'm using Galaxies, I always use the L Pro.
So Craig, you've mentioned the L Pro a few times. Do you consider that still a very good filter to use for, non-nebulosity? Or is there something else out there that's better that you're lusting for?
Well, realistically, from what I have done in my own studies on the filtering of light pollution, the L Pro is, unless you want to pay $1,000, the L Pro is very, very good for galaxies.
Okay.
Your next one would be UV-IR cut, but with the 2600s, they already have the UV-IR cut filter as a cover to the chip. You can put another the same filter on with no ill effect, but like I said, it's already there. I've tried some UHV or UHC, whatever that is. Give me a minute here. UHC filter from Optilon. That's not bad either, but the L Pro beats the other ones from my point of view.
And that would be particularly with your color camera, the 2600 MC, is that correct?
It actually would work with both color cameras that I have.
Okay, yeah.
The difference between the 2600 and the 533 MCs is the amount of well depth. You get more counts of grayscale in the same picture for the 2600, and you don't over process the star or each star. With a 533, if you stick to that too long, you're going to get a bloating on the stars. It's almost like a point where the focus in the camera was off. So it's kind of bloated. It could be your back focus, could be your main focus, can be that you're overexposing each frame. When I do shots in the dark, nebulosity is usually about 5 minutes, unless it's the hyperstar, then it's 30 seconds or 60 seconds. When I use galaxies, they're usually more brighter. I'll stick with anywhere from a minute to 3 minutes, no more, because galaxies pull out a lot. But then again, with the Optilon L and Ultimate, it blocks more. You're going to have to go up to 5 minutes per sub, because even though it creates a lack of halo, it blocks a lot of photons to your chip. Is everybody there?
Yeah, and that's an M2 that you redone.
Yes, that was an M2 that what I did is I went in. When I gave you that one, that was a Pixin sight shot with no extractions of stubs. And when you mentioned you wanted a refined picture, I went into each individual frames and found about half of them that were not desirable. I use Pixin Sight's Blink, which you have a visual, so you can pick out the ones you like, the ones you don't like. Then you go in the subframe select, and it does a full width, half mask, and eccentricity, each file differently. And it gives you a graph of what's in and what's out, what they recommend and what you should accept. And in that graph, you can either punch in a formula, which I think is a little extensive for me right now, but you can manually go in and click the ones you don't like, and it X's it out, it eliminates it. And then when you send it back out for processing in your processing stacking process, Registex that is, or whatever you use, it's already taken all the bad stars or pictures out. It gives you better, sharper stars.
Cool.
But it'll be nice for me to get M2 again, but I'll have to wait till it comes back up.
There's an M3.
Yeah, that was recent. I used that on the 2600 MC L Pro again. That was the triplet again. But it's cropped a wee bit. That's the 127 triplet. Oh, that was my first shot using the 8-inch Edge HD, and it was what you call about 40 minutes of Hyperstar on an L Pro, and it was more or less, okay, let's get the focus in. It was an L Pro, and I know L Pro on a nebulosity, but I was going to go to something else that a Galaxy, so I did switch them out of my drawer, and I'm very happy with the first time usage. What I'm finding out that as far as with the Hyperstar on my 8-inch Edge HD and the 7 reducer or running it straight through, the difference is the speed, of course, but I get a really strong variety of focal length, up to 5.
Does that
So,
drop that down to F2 then?
it's roughly right about f1.9.
Okay.
Enough that I had to buy the Beta f2 filters because a regular good quality HA03S2 would not work. It would blur in the blue.
Wow. It's good.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it for the first time. Oh, that's 101. That's an old one. I used the 533 MC using the L Pro. Here I use APP for stacking, moved it into PixInsight and stretched out the stars. With the PixInsight has a program to separate your stars, even though it's a galaxy, from the nebulosity or the main structure of the galaxy. Then you can stretch the stars to your liking without bloating them, and then you can do your curves in the color to bring out the detail.
What scope did you use on that one, Craig?
Oh my, give me a minute.
Is that a Schmidt-Cassegrain or something?
I think it was a Schmidt-Cassegrain.
I mean-
Schmidt-Cassegrain, but it's straight through. I didn't use any reducer. When I do a setup, the first thing I do is I go through my tablet on Stellarium, trying to find things that I can do. See, when I found the tadpole and the flaming star, I was shooting the flaming star. But the way I had it set up, I could get both. So I moved the center of the camera to between the two, which is rather simple. I have a tablet. I push and hold on where I want the camera center to go, and then it shows a green target, and you tap that and it will automatically move that spot and then take a picture, and it will stay there until you move it.
You know, I don't know how that is looking on everybody else's computer at home, but I mean, looking here at Jeff's monitor, it's just stunning. I mean, I think back of when I was a teenager and bought prints. They were black and white, you know, that were taken by a 100-inch telescope. And this is so much better. It's just amazing what amateurs can do nowadays.
Oh yes, with the new programs that PixInsight as well as APP, they're coming out with some new stuff too. But PixInsight really gives you a better chance for developing your detailed drawn out color on a one-shot color. Mine. Do you have the M51?
That's
that was another one that I used a mono, but it was 8-inch edge using the 0.7 reducer with HA03 and S2 on a 7, not a. It's a slower filters, obviously, but it turned out pretty good.
cool. And I see Byron there, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna walk through yours, and if you want to talk about them.
Okay, well, this is your Leo trio. That I took with that new quad Takahashi. My mouth is cold. I've been out there covering plants, so bear with me here. That was taken at Castle. I think that was, oh, I can't remember how long I stacked on that, but that was processed through. I tried both APP and Cyril. I don't remember which one this is. This might be APP. The APP did a little bit better than the Cyril did. Like I said, I'm thinking that was an hour and 15 minutes, 45 seconds at 1600 with the Canon 6D Mark II. And that was a lot of cropping too. That new Takahashi has got a really wide field.
Which Takahashi do you have?
I got the baby Q, they call it.
The 85?
Yep. And I have sold that Esprit.
Yeah,
it's gone.
I like that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
Markarian's chain. About the same amount of time out of Castle also.
If you're not all familiar with that, I don't know how many galaxies you can count in here, all over the place.
They're all over.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think that's 1, 2, 16. So and I didn't count the 17.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
What filter would you use, Aaron?
That was the L Pro.
Okay.
I used the L Pro on the Leo Trio also. And yeah, this one, of course, the Rosette I processed 2 different ways. This was Cyril, and then I jumped in APP and played with the colors a little bit more.
And that's the second one?
The second one, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. Nice detail. I see a lot of blue in that one.
I'm trying to remember how that was the first shot I actually took with the baby Q. And that was in town here in a Bortle 7. That was with the Triad Ultra filter. Probably, I think that was 2 hours and 15 minutes, 1600 ISO, 3-minute exposures. Now this one I was trying to get the fly and the spider. I don't remember what their sharpless designations on them. But yeah, very grainy. I mean, I try to take that over 3 nights. This is 6 hours. Of course, the tadpole's in the upper right. But I had to really torque on this thing to try to get some of those spider legs to come out, and then you get all the other noise in behind it. But this is a real wide field picture too. It's kind of hard to isolate and try to pull any one thing out of it.
And the fly, is that the thing at lower center?
Yes. Yeah, the fly and the spider. I think the sharpless 234 and 237.
Okay.
Two clusters there too.
I've got an argumentative question for Craig and Byron. So I read online a lot about people saying, 6-10 second exposures are as good as a 1 minute exposure. So you've got 6 hours of integration time here. Are you taking 6 hours worth of 10-second exposures?
No, 3 minutes at 1600.
And why would you not do that? Because they claim that, they're as good. I'm not a proponent of that, but and everybody in the know says they are. So why don't, when we do imaging like you guys both showed us tonight, why don't you guys just take a whole bunch of 10-second exposures?
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of following along. I kind of watch that guy in Astro Backyard, and I watch what he's doing. It's with me using the DSLR, it's trying to find that sweet spot. It's not a dedicated astronomy camera, but I mean, full frame. It's got a pretty hefty sensor in it. But they claim the more you stack, the less noise. That background noise goes away, and you get more of the nebulosity. Doing 6 hours of this, I've never tried that before. I have nothing to compare it to. But it's not a real bright object in the first place. What's your input, Craig?
I would say bring up your gain, or bring down your gain. Sorry.
Yeah, now that was 1600. I was trying that just to see what it would do.
Yes. Usually with the nebulosities that are very, very dim, you need more subs. Simple as that.
Yeah. And I think 800 is the sweet spot on that 6D. On the T3i, T4i, it was 1600.
Mm-hmm. More subs.
But now you're hooking it up with a different telescope too, so you kind of start all over again and try to. Is it going to react the same with that Takahashi as it did the Esprit or the Newtonian? The Newtonian, of course, is a different animal all on its own. It's very fast,
and it's wider. You get more photons per sub.
You know what? You would think so. It's an f4.
Yep.
But when I use the f4 and that camera on that Newtonian, I can barely get the rosette in there. With the f5.5 and the f5.3, it's a lot wider with the refractors. There's some difference there. And I would love somebody to explain that to me, why the refractor has a wider field than the Newtonian, which is supposed to be wider.
It's the f-stop. The smaller
What's that?
The smaller the number, the wider the field.
Right. But in the Newtonian's case, that's not true. When you're doing the Newtonian's got a narrow field of view with that camera. Right. Then the refractors do at 5.3 and 5.5 between that TAC and that Esprit, and they were a lot wider.
But is the focal length longer with the Newtonian?
The Newtonian's 800, f4 800, and then the Esprit was 550, and the TAC is 450.
So the focal length is going to determine what the field of view is.
Yeah.
Right.
The length, not the ratio.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Well, the ratio determines how much light you get.
Yeah.
But
it's not necessarily the focal ratio, it's the
focal length.
The focal length, yeah.
Yeah.
You might have to look into, like I'm doing now, doing mosaic.
I've thought about doing that with APP.
Get the most detail if you, like I said, if I use my 8 or 9 1/4, no reducer, and do a mosaic of 2 to 4, you get higher detail per frame. Yeah. I'm planning on doing that tomorrow with my Hyperstar.
So this is Jim. My response to Jeff's question about what about taking lots of short exposures. First of all, just the practical, I mean, you can do that better now with nowadays cameras. But one thing is if you're taking 10-second exposures, you're going to get 6 hours of them, you're going to have a hell of a lot of files. So first of all, you just got to deal, just how much you have to deal with. So that's one factor.
Isn't that all automated though now?
it's just a space to store all of them, and then you gotta stack them. So the processing time is probably gonna take a lot longer if you're trying to stack, 2,000 files versus stacking 500. It takes a lot.
Yes.
And
The
then,
processing time is gonna kill you.
and then the other thing is if you're using a narrowband filter, then the 10-second exposure is kind of short, so probably want to take a little bit longer from that standpoint. So
That is true.
if you have a mount that will track well enough to take a minute exposure or 3-minute exposures, it's just more convenient to go ahead and take the longer exposure. But I think that's the point that, you can get by with shorter exposures than you could in the days.
It depends on the
CCD.
object, it depends on the object, right? If the object is bright, you can get by
Right.
short exposure.
Yeah.
It also depends if you want to reduce how much noise you want, because the longer that chip is turned on, you're gonna get a lot more noise because it gets hotter, right? So,
Correct.
so you gotta play with what do you want in return for what you're investing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I found out that when you take shorter subs, you have to do, obviously when you're stacking, you're going to have a more clear picture, but you're going to have to stretch it a lot harder to get that out compared to a longer exposure subs.
What
But you're
kind of what kind of length are you running, Craig?
It depends on what I'm shooting. If it's a Galaxy, and it depends on the filter. If I'm using the L Pro, I'm going anywhere from 2 minutes to 5 minutes, and it really depends on the condition and where it is in the sky. If it's
Right.
up over top of me, it's 1.5 to 2 minutes because you're going through one atmosphere. If you're shooting off to the east or to the west, you're going to bump that up to 4 to 5. You have to, because you're going through about 5 or 6 atmospheres to get to it. Now, if you're doing multiband like an L Extreme or an Enhanced, you're going to have to move it up to 5. I usually don't go any past 5 on any of my filters, except for the Ultimate, which I really hasn't used that much to find out where the sweet spot is. But from what I hear, you got to do more subs of 5 minutes to get the same thing than an Extreme at, let's say, 2/3 of the subs, because it filters out more photons to your chip.
Are
It's
you
good.
using that ultra triad quad
No,
filter?
I'm using Optilon L Ultimate.
Oh, okay. It's
Supposed to reduce, if not eliminate, halos, but I would say it will remove about 80 to 85% of the halos that you take in the picture. And like I said, this summer when it comes, I'm going to be able to use some of that to see what it's like. I could use it on my Hyperstar, be fine. See what happens.
Okay.
Well,
So can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, if I can get rid of this here. The reason I asked that, and I don't know if this is going to go away or not, is I don't do much astrophotography anymore, and this I took a few years ago. And before that, this is my only picture I've taken probably in the last 5 or 6 years. But this is 12 10-minute exposures, stacked and auto stretched and no other processing. So I'm still kind of medium old school because, I spent a lot of money on that mount so that I didn't have to guide, and I can track my 11-inch SCT for 30 minutes unguided. And it doesn't move. It just tracks perfectly without any guiding. So, and again, there's no tracking on this or no guiding on this, but is it a waste anymore to spend $15,000 on a mount so that you can take long exposures if you can basically sit there with a camera tripod and take a bunch of short ones.
It all depends on the object, the object, the filters that you're using, the chip that you're using.
Oh, yeah, there's no filter on this.
It all depends on everything, and you know.
Yeah, it could be a 30-second to a 5-minute. And it's all based, like what Sam's saying, on the magnitude of the object.
Correct.
You know, there's those factors, and of course the sky conditions too. You got to kind of assess it. I've been out there and it's been crystal clear, and started shooting, and I use backyard EOS, and I just turn it loose, and I can just go out there and check, you know, off and on, make sure it's still running with the guider, and of course the camera's still going through its sequence on backyard EOS, and I'll look up, and all of a sudden, where'd all that haze come from? So
Right.
then I got to rethink: do I want to drop that exposure down, or just keep going? Depending on how bad it is. A lot of times with that ultra triad, I'll just keep it going. But I think if I had something else in there, I'd probably adjust it. But it can change in no time flat. I mean, it can it can go south in a matter of an hour.
Correct. I think another thing, Jeff, you took that picture with an 8300
Yeah,
CCD.
yeah.
That has filters in it, in a filter wheel. Red, blue,
I don't have a
green.
filter wheel on it.
What was that?
It's just a color camera. There is no.
Oh, that was a one-shot color?
Yeah,
I thought that was okay.
Well, the real neat thing
I would
about
say-
that picture. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would say the well depth in the camera system would be the most difficult in a 10-minute shot. You'd have to make sure you don't overflow it into the other chips. A well depth is like having a whole bunch of glasses all sitting in a pattern, let's say 100 of them, and you spray water into the center. And when the water fall, each drop is equal to, let's say, a photon. And when that one glass fills, it pours into the other glass. And when that fills, it goes on and on and on. That's where you get your bloating. The bigger the well depth, the bigger each glass size and depth. So well depth was important. I have my problem with the 533 to a degree, but when I changed over the 26, the files, as you guys say, is bigger. I had to upgrade my computer just to process. But that's part of the routine that you have to deal with. If you want a better picture, you're gonna.
Yeah, I had to do that also. I had to upgrade my laptop with that Canon 6D.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeff, you said those are 10-minute exposures on that?
Yeah.
That's quite remarkable that you pretty much didn't bleach out that, what is it, trapezium they call it?
Yeah.
You can almost see it in that picture.
I can't believe that you didn't blow the center of that image.
Yeah, I know it. It's 12 10-minute exposures, and it's a first light for
No filters, you said?
no filters, no light pollution filter, no nothing.
Usually
No.
that trapezium in the center will be blown.
That was that F9 Starfire, 152 millimeter F9 Starfire I was shooting through.
Wow, that's pretty dark.
Yeah,
I have one question on the 300.
yeah. So
That's probably it.
the only thing I watch on that is there's this little gain thing that you don't go above like 65,000, because if you do, you oversaturate. So I just made sure that when that's as long as I could image without having it bump over that. So that was 12 10-minute exposures stacked.
It looks pretty good though.
Anyway,
The program on your 8300 S Big, did you have to divide the colors up, reprocess them, and put them back together? I thought you mentioned that once.
I used to have to do that.
Okay.
Mike and Brello stack them for me. I told them to stack them and do an auto stretch, and that's all that was. So I'm not sure, but yeah, on my software I do. I have to sit there and one picture at a time, divide, take out the red, take out the blue, take out the green, and build separate folders, process each one separately, and then put them back together. But you know, that kind of kept me on it all. So now I usually just do single shot, long exposures and with an auto stretch.
Craig, do you have to do that with the 2600 MC?
I have played with both, process all colors in one, or I get them stacked in the Pixin site and I can divide the colors up, process each color to my liking, and then put them back together. I see there's a little bit better quality and detail when I separate the colors, process them, and put them back together than I do processing all at once.
Because Byron, with your SLR, you don't have to do that.
No,
Right?
do not.
Yeah, I don't think Mike did with my CCD.
He used Pixin site though, right?
Yeah, I believe he used Pixin site. I don't know whether if it's combined or whatever he used. He just took them, put them in a folder and hit a button and it turned it into one. And there's a button for auto stretch, press that button. Because I told him I'm colorblind pretty bad. So me manipulating colors is a fruitless thing. It doesn't gain me anything to try to do that, because the best I would do is ruin it for somebody else. So that I said, I just want something auto, you know, totally auto. I don't want to mess with the colors. But of course, if you don't stretch, you don't see anything. So he gave me a workflow for that, just to combine all the pictures. And I think you just dump them in a folder and hit one process, and then you hit an auto stretch button, and that's what pops out. So
Craig, maybe someday when you're willing, any of us that would like to have you put a tutorial on for us, we could do that sometime on how to use Pixin site.
Well, I'm going to be in town May 2nd through the 5th. Other than that, I don't have an idea where I'm going to be. Yeah. So the first week of May, I'll be in town. Wouldn't mind sitting down with you guys if you can. And
when you set up the image over at the observatory when you're in town, do you basically set it up and let it go, or do you have to babysit?
Yep. With Astro ASI Air Plus or Pro or the older model, once you have it running, you could shut off your tablet or whatever you're controlling it with and walk away.
What I was thinking is maybe over at the observatory while you're doing that, let it run and go in the classroom with people, and you can talk Pixin site.
Sure.
Well,
I have intentions of either the 5th, the 3rd, or the 4th going out to the observatory with my equipment, and I'd like to pick out something to the south, because I'm kind of starved for objects in the south, and once I get it running, you can walk away.
What's the phase of the moon then?
Oh, well, if you're doing broadband, you don't care about the moon. You could always process that out through Pixin site. The difference between a picture with no moon and a picture with a full moon, you don't want to shoot right at the moon, though I have at an angle where you could see a small halo of haze on one side of your shot. But once you stack them and go through the process, you can get most of that haze out. I mean, no moon is obviously the best choice, but sometimes you don't have that privilege. The first and open night, you don't say, is it a new moon or is it not? No, you just go out and do your best.
Let's say if you ever get that triad, that ultimate triad filter, it'll defeat the moon.
What about guiding? Byron, do you guide?
Yes, on camera.
So does guide give you any trouble? Does the moon give you trouble guiding? It seems like I had problems with that.
No, because like what Craig said, I'll find an object that's not next to the moon. You still have that glow, and you'll see the difference in the camera. But as long as it can lock on the stars, I mean, I've never had it fail. So,
Yeah,
you know, but yeah, you don't want to point it any angle or it'll bleach that little camera out. Cause yeah, then you won't guide so well.
yes, I agree. You have the plus, right, Jim?
I do. Now, any of these comments are, before I have used the ASI Air.
The idea is you need to focus for the first and only time your guide camera, and I usually use the moon. And then when you get done with that, go to a fainter star and try to get it as sharp, but you do not want to make it too sharp. It's always nice to have a little bloat on the stars on the guide scope.
Yes.
And I usually have mine. I've had once or twice since I've started this where the guide scope wasn't working. I have the setting at 55 gain and I bumped it up to 70 and then I had no trouble that day. And it wasn't the moon. It was the scene. I had more upper atmosphere clouds that I was shooting through. That's all.
Okay, well, thanks.
I'd enjoy spending time talking about things I enjoy. every field I go by, I said that'd be good for a scope.
So we move on to, do we have anything else?
Let's see, a few other items, yes, of course, with John Baker not here, treasurer's report might be a non-starter.
Well, I'm assuming it hasn't changed much since the last time, since I think there's only been two things that I occasionally look at the account, and I think only two things have gone out. That's not the last time, so I don't know.
Observatory expansion?
Is there anything new on the expansion project? Jim, I didn't have time to look, but you sent out an email that you were going to visit somebody to look at their roll-off roof motor system.
Yeah, there's, that's kind of the thing we need to get the roll-off roof on the new observatory working better so that we can make use of that observatory. And didn't make much progress over the cold winter, but we did identify last fall a gentleman that lives up near Rockford, and Rusty, John Baker, and myself are going to go visit that observatory on Wednesday. And if there's anybody else that would like to go along, let us know, and certainly welcome. With the idea of what can we learn from what he's done that we're going to make use on whatever we want to do to motorize our roof movement. So Cecil's been in the club long enough. You might remember Carl. I don't remember his last name. Yeah. But he'd been down here a number of times. He and Bill Brown observed together. He bought a big, 16, 18-inch telescope, came to the Eastern Iowa Star Party a couple of years. And yeah. He actually made use of some of the ideas that he saw Sherman Park roll off of when he built his observatory in a small town outside of Rockford. So we're going to go visit him.
Any other news on that front?
I don't know if anybody else has got any other comments and things that they've used the observatory or since the winter, but I've been gone, so maybe there's some things going on that I'm unaware of.
The last time I was out there was when you were working in the building at that one night.
Okay.
I don't know anything really much that happened up there over the winter. Well then, there is one other item that there's at least one other item that I do need to bring up. Jeff and I went out to the observatory a week ago, and I won't lie, we found the place was a mess. Garbage piled around, the waste baskets were full, the carpet was caked with mud that somebody had tracked in. And I got an email of complaint from the head ranger out there about the state of the observatory classroom. There is a recycle bin out there that nobody's been using. So I gotta say, if we're gonna use the observatory, we need to do our part to keep it clean. There's a recycling bin out there, 4 cans and plastic bottles, use it. And
Are we the only people that uses that building?
No.
I'm pretty sure we're not, because I just heard the other day, somebody said something, oh, our butterfly group, blah, blah, blah. Did this and we've been there and we've used the restrooms, and I'm thinking, oh, so all the people go out there, that is not us. So,
And I hate to say it, but I think the mud tracked in was from the center door. And it looks
Was.
like they brought in the cabinet from that way. And the mud looks like it tracked in from the cabinet when they brought the cabinet in. So I'm wondering if it was muddy or rainy out there and they carried it in, maybe because their feet were wet, maybe they didn't even see that it was muddy until it dried, and then it, looks like so.
But I'm assuming that no matter who uses it, St. Ambrose is probably responsible for it.
I just sent an email. I sent email to St. Ambrose physical plant and housekeeping with a list of items to do, and they said they did do much of them. Let's see if I can.
but the WAPSI also uses it for other activities?
Yeah.
They do too, it's not just St. Andrews.
But I guess the point is, when we use it, we have to make sure we clean up after ourselves.
Yeah.
St. Ambrose is supposed to maintain it, but they're not supposed to be mommy. We
Yeah.
need to throw away our stuff. They can pack up the garbage and take it out. They can, make sure the soap is filled and the paper towels and that kind of stuff. But, if you've got a can, don't leave it sit on the chair that, for somebody else to throw away, or water bottles or,
Okay, the email I sent to them was to remove the garbage that Jeff and I collected. And the new storage cabinet. John Baker said he could go out there the same day. I emailed physical plant to please move the new storage cabinet up into the dome and remove the old one, provided that someone from the club could come out there and empty the equipment out of the old storage cabinet before they did. And John Baker emailed, and it sounded like he was able to go out there the same day that they could.
that new cabinet is so heavy, Robert and I couldn't move it. We grabbed a hold of it and it wasn't, we thought about carrying it up and putting it in the dome, but we couldn't budget. Sliding it was next to impossible.
Quite heavy and apparently fireproof.
Wow. Hopefully it's mouse proof.
Oh, yeah, definitely hope that, yeah. And then I also emailed that the paper dispensers in the bathroom were empty, so hopefully they take care of that. And let's see.
So I think we all can, look at ourselves and say, what can we do different to make the solution better? So please don't interpret my questions to say, ain't my problem, somebody else. But I do wonder, St. Ambrose is located many miles away. So how do they empty the waste paper baskets? Do they come out once a month, once a week? Do they come when we call them? Or is that an unreasonable expectation? Or because I would say, over the last number of years, those waste paper baskets don't appear to get emptied very often.
They don't.
So when St. Ambrose physical plant says, yeah, we do it, when? What expectation can we have? Are we supposed to tell them the waste paper baskets are full, or do they come once a month?
And if I can piggyback off of what you just said, Jim, I don't see our club using Mankey any more than we did in the past. And we haven't really had a problem in the past, other than, like you said, a lot of times you go in there and the waste paper baskets are full. But I don't remember seeing grass all over the carpets, mud all over the carpets, chairs in disarray. And, you know, I don't remember that happening. And I don't think we use it anymore, even though we've moved over. We haven't had the weather to use it.
Well, we did have the construction going on out there, though. It was probably
But,
a lot of, yeah.
but
people
yeah,
going in and out.
the mud and all that, you know, that's new, the last few weeks.
Oh,
And Jim and John and Steve, you know, they're pretty conscientious about stuff like that. So, you know, the grounds was disrupted from the excavation and that could get, you know, some mud brought in, but I didn't see that happening when stuff was being built. But still, you're right. You know, there's more going on. If people are out there nosing around for doing butterflies or bird watching, because they do both out there, maybe they're walking around looking at the building and coming in not thinking about it. I don't know. But yeah, it'd be good, like Jim said, to know how often Ambrose does go out there.
Who has a key to that building?
I assume the Watson River Center does.
Okay,
Wapsi's got it.
but none of the other, like if there's a butterfly club.
Well, they were in there and I don't know whether they've got access to it or if Wapsi opened it for them.
I think Wapsie opens it.
They're probably
use
right.
the bathrooms.
But I remember the one time I went in there for the butterfly thing, they had stuff all over everything. Nets and boxes and bottles and grass for the bottoms of the little cages for the butterflies to go in. And I mean, I don't remember what activity. I think we had something going on that weekend. I went out there to check it over, but
Need to put a camera up.
Yeah.
They could put a motion camera out there. That'd solve some problems.
What may happen is if other groups are using this, then none of them are signing the guest book, so there's no evidence that they were out there,
Yeah.
other than the garbage.
yeah, we can put a $30 internet camera out there and no monthly fee.
What was especially troublesome for Jeff and me was that somebody, the good shop vac out there, somebody had left the hose lying against the heat register in the storeroom and it melted right through.
Yeah.
So,
And,
Yeah, we had to-
you know, what I would say about that is, I mean, I don't think anybody does that stuff on purpose,
No.
but that storage room has been pretty full at times. And so it just, stuff gets jammed in there, and I don't know the condition right now, but, you know, so it leans over and nobody realized it was up against the heat register.
The goal now is
Then
to
it
turn that
helps.
back into a kitchenette. Putting the microwaves in there, putting our little refrigerator in there, and just, you know, that's what you do. We keep the food in there, the paper plates, all the stuff that's underneath. Because we don't really need a dark room anymore. And really, if we do what we're supposed to be doing, we really don't need storage there, you know. If we have some cabinets in each building for gear for that, you know, the scopes that are in those buildings, we don't need that back room for storing stuff.
eventually, we even want to move that big cabinet out of there because we don't need it and move we've actually moved quite a bit of equipment from that into other places in the classroom, so if we
Yeah.
could finish that up, then we can get that big cabinet out there and that'll be a lot of extra room right away.
Are there cleaning supplies out there for the bathrooms?
There are old cleaning supplies and old paper products in those cabinets underneath the sink in the storeroom. I don't know if anybody knows how long they've been in there, and the mice, there's.
I think we need the pickers to go over there and make us an offer on buying some of that old stuff.
And one thing it kind of drives me nuts out there is you go to the bathroom, it's got a red light, you can't really see nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, you know, we really need to rethink that, I think. So even if you do clean it, you can see what you're cleaning. It's hard because I've been out there before and I was playing the telescope and I'm like, well, maybe I could clean some of this up, but you go in there, you can't see nothing.
What about instead of replacing the ceiling light with a really bright white light, which frankly is going to be a big hassle during our star parties? What if we put in some kind of plug-in night light in there?
Well, anything that can help us look, because I mean, if I'm out there and there's cleaning supplies, I'll clean the bathrooms. you know, while I'm there shooting pictures, or I'll vacuum the floor if there's a working vacuum. I have no problem with that, but you know, the bathrooms, you know, let's face it, you need to be able to see what you're doing in there, you know, especially in the men's bathroom, obviously.
It's hard to use the bathroom in there with the red light on.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but for somebody colorblind like me, it makes it difficult. But anyway, point well taken. Maybe we can figure out how to get some kind of a light on a switch so that if you want a white light on there, you just get the white.
Right. That's
and
exactly it.
on it. You leave that switch off and use the red one, you know.
Yeah.
We could do that to both bathrooms.
Very, very good idea, yes. Would
Is there
we need to install?
Is there an electrical outlet in those in each bathroom? See if there is. They make those security lights where if the power goes out, the light comes on. If we plug and hit the little circuit breaker button in the bathroom to turn off that power, that bright light will come on. Ours is like blinding bright that I've got in our house, but we could do that. Just plug it into the outlet. You hit the little circuit breaker on the outlet switch, that light will come on real bright white.
Yeah.
Not what you'd normally do if you wanted to, you know, preserve your night vision. You just use the switch.
What's down a suggestion? What kind of a light you talking about?
It's, you know, it's when the power goes out, the light comes on. It's got a NiCad battery or something in it.
Like a clapper?
But no, it's just a little halogen light.
Maybe they make those in LED now. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe like I said, the one light in our basement, if you turn off the breaker down there, if the lights go out, it lights up the whole basement around the stairwell and everything, just like it's daylight in there.
I'm sure I didn't write that down right. So,
but we'll figure it out.
But we'll remember it.
Next time you need to use the bathroom and you find out somebody missed, you'll remember the light then.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we remember the idea after this meeting.
You'll need UV light for that.
Yeah.
I think the plus to the problem is that we're talking about. I was not personally aware that we had to clean up the trash. Now that I do.
Well, I don't think it's clean up the trash so much as if you've got a pop can and you're done with it, throw it away. Yeah.
Recycling.
Yeah. And are those recycling? They used to be inside. Are they outside now?
No, this was inside. It was.
They got that new little scuzzy one, but we used to have next to the drinking
from, yes,
a real nice one, and it's gone. And that disappeared about the butterfly people time.
And I don't know what happened.
But there was a 2 or 3 container one for trash and one for recycled.
Yes,
I think one for plastic and one for, and that's gone. And now it's just a little, and the one that's even there is broken. It's got a split on.
I don't know anything about that. You'd have to ask the WAPSI.
But anyway, I don't think the intent is for us to take the garbage and drive, you know, a block and a half down to the dumpster where the WAPSI's got their stuff and throw it. But you know.
I think the motion cameras is a good answer to your dilemma.
Yeah. I've got a spare one we can borrow for until we decide it works or not.
Put up the sign. Make sure everybody sees it.
Smile, you're on candid camera.
Well, that's no fun.
No, that keeps the honest thieves honest.
It defeats the purpose.
Because the crooked thieves are going to steal it regardless.
Exactly.
I think it's more fun if they don't know.
Exactly. Okay. I mean, that was just suggestion, but
might be in there doing Michael Jackson moves or something to the music. Well, something to tease somebody about.
And just be careful they don't end up on TikTok. All right, are there any other items that we need to bring up tonight?
There is a working vacuum out there, right?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
an old, what is the brand? It's like an old Hoover kind of a vac. There's a red one that's junk that doesn't work. And there's two wet vacs that probably don't work. But there's one kind of an older one and it works really well. And I forgot the brand.
I've never heard of the brand names.
And it's a heavier one and it's an old fashioned one like you'd see in the 60s. The
Should we
can,
be tossing the ones that don't work?
what's that?
Should we be tossing the ones that don't work?
Yeah, I think I put
I
the
think
red
I
one.
think we already tossed the one that left that
Yeah.
in the trash.
Yeah, I left the red one in the trash pile for them to take. Whether they took it or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the two wet vacs, no, they're still in the kitchen. Or
Well, you know, for that reason and to make checking for upcoming astronomy day, we should go out to the observatory sometime in the next week or so, just to make sure.
yeah,
Pick some week. Well, of course, we've only got one more weekend before astronomy day, so it narrows it down.
And what about other supplies out there, light bulbs, stuff like that? Do you guys have that? I mean, when we need them?
I think
I think that's a facilities thing.
Okay.
In the email reply, they said they take care of the garbage and dispensers, general cleaning, and that burnt out red ceiling light.
Oh, you had a burnt light out?
Yeah, it's over there by the dark room, by the kitchen, that back
Oh,
one.
okay.
And
I haven't been out there for a while, so I was just kind of wondering.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, none of us have been out there for a while, so things just kind of got over the winter, kind of not cool.
they said they couldn't take care of the warped carpet tiles in the dome right
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
To hopefully get that. And they're kind of fuzzy on whether or not they did anything with those cans of
The chemicals.
the chemicals that was left behind from Wayne Jens's mirror grinding supplies. They physical plant told me that they need to be taken to Lewis Hall on campus because they're chemicals and need to be disposed of in very specific under very specific safety.
You can do that, or you can there's a place in Davenport where you can get rid of them.
Yeah, but to me, I was hoping that facilities would take them, but it almost sounds like they want us to take them. So,
I've thrown stuff away
Let's
there.
see.
okay.
Well, I did ask if housekeeping could take them to Lewis Hall. Let's see. Yeah, they didn't answer about that.
Well, if they're there, we'll take them. If they're gone, yay.
All right.
Is there any kind of rodent control out there? Is St. Ambrose doing anything?
According to the Wapsie Ranger, the best rodent control is for us to keep the place clean.
But what they don't know, and if we want to do it, we can get, it's not decon, but they make these little blocks that are like about an inch square, and they're kind of light bluish. We can
Tomcat.
down into the block
They're,
around.
they're Tomcats.
What?
Yep.
Tomcats.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
them. I got those. Put them in my camper.
Yeah, they work really well. Mice really like those and they eat that and they take off like they do with decon. But this lasts longer than decon. It doesn't break down. And I think it's even safer for things. But the openings in the concrete block all the way around the top of the dome, we can, every 3 or 4 foot, we can drop one of them in there. And that ought to help tremendously. Or we
They're gonna look for heat, not just food. They're gonna look for heat.
Yeah, and also we could get if Paul would go over there, he could check for snakes too.
I talked to Paul today, he said, say hi to everybody. Oh, yeah, I see him on Facebook all the time.
Anyway, still, you guys, somebody needs to send some ideas on what topics they want for presentations.
Yes, please.
I did write on Facebook on QC Astronomy, that's the generic page, saying, hey, what do you, if you're going to go to them, and this is up for public, I think there's like 300 or 400 people on there. If you come to a meeting, what would you like to hear about? I mean, we need to get some topics in here.
Mhm.
And like tonight, we ended up talking quite a bit astrophotography. If there's people that say, hey, there's too much of that, let us know that too.
Yeah, well, and you know, again, I would like to get some new people involved, which might mean, I don't know what telescope I should get. And for them sitting here listening to how to work some type of a program on PixInsight or APP, I mean, we lost them already. So we need to be some varied topics in here, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know, it would be nice also is that a couple times this summer, if the weather's good, to meet out at Menke and do a brief meeting and go out and get telescopes out. We
Well,
don't do that in the group very much.
that's one of the things I was hoping that would happen if we had our meetings here at Riverdale. Instead of meeting in the room, we could meet on top of the hill underneath the pavilion. We could bring our scopes and, you know, have a meeting and talk about gear, do whatever we want out there. There's electricity if we want. The lights can be shut off and it's not half bad. So, and that's in town, so we can do that kind of stuff too. But we'll see.
That's an idea. All right,
But we've got an arsenal out there at Menke, though. We're not using it.
You're right. You're right. And I don't want to discount that too. I'm just trying to figure out how to get people out there in the first place. And I'm thinking if we can hook them in town, maybe they'll come out. That one guy, like I said, had no idea that there was such a thing as a 30-inch telescope, let alone that there was one that he could look through.
And I'd suggest try different things, try a meeting out there, try one on the hill here and
Sure.
see which one we get attendance at.
Anyway, I know that Robert was driving for an adjournment because it's getting late.
it's time for it. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Any seconds?
Here a second.
Moves, Jim seconds, all in favor, aye. All opposed, cares, good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Robert, before I do anything here, mine is the one that's recording.
Yes.
So do I just log off and it'll stop recording?
It will stop recording and it will start converting the file into an MP4 format.
Do you want to do it? So I don't do anything wrong, or will I not do anything wrong?
Well, if it's recorded on your computer, then I need to.
See, I don't know. How can I tell if it's recording on the computer? I assume it is because it's got to be set up the way it says recording right here.
Here, let me get off first.
Okay, yeah. And I'm gonna turn on the light. And can you mind driving and just do what you normally do? Pretend this is your rig.
Okay.
And then, I don't want to read.
Looks like Dan's not leaving, oh well.
And I don't know if it's done.
All right.
I did it for the
All
last
right.
year. See, all the people work.